Hey guys, welcome back to D-List Diaries.
Hi, my favorite girlies.
Hey, hey. Gina, did you have a good travel? We know you went out of town. We were looking for you because we are trying to schedule our Beetlejuice hangout at the pop-up at the Noel Hotel.
We had such a good time. It was so fun. I don't know if it's age or just different like groups of people. I guess different groups of people because this bachelorette party was like so low key. It's like have one cocktail, eat good food. Like it wasn't like penis straws and parties. Like it was
I love that.
very relaxing. And I ran into Tatum. You guys, that's crazy. So backstory, Tatum is like one of our assistant producers. And I'm standing in line at a bathroom at the hotel pool. We both have sunglasses on. She's got like her hair up, so I couldn't tell who it was. And she's like, "Are you from Nashville?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she goes, "You're Gina, right? Married at First Sight hairstylist." And I was like, "Yeah," like thinking it was someone random.
Yeah.
It was like Tatum. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like producer Tatum?" And she was like, "Yeah." And like took her glasses off, gave me a big hug. So I just thought that was so funny. I was like, we're literally just at a random resort in St. Pete Beach.
I always think that's so strange when you're somewhere else, when you're traveling and you see someone you know. It's like, how are we crossing paths in another place at this moment? But I mean, that's pretty cool that y'all were able to see each other. And then also, I feel the same way sometimes. Like, even when I went to Jamaica, sometimes I'm like, I don't have to go and party too hard. Like, I'm totally fine with good conversations, one cocktail, just something that's very low key, like just very relaxing. I'm all for that. So I think it has something to do with age and wherever you're traveling to and the people that you're traveling with. I mean, Nicole, I feel like we had a great weekend this weekend. I had a chance to meet your friend and that was pretty like relaxing to me.
Yeah. And honestly, you saying a bachelorette party where it was low key is just music to my ears because I'm sure you two have also been on many a wild trip. But whenever I was younger and a friend would get married, I'd be excited for the bachelorette party. I'm like, oh no, I'm about to lose a lot of money, a lot of dignity, and it's going to be a shit show. And they were always so fun. But it's like I was afraid almost to get married because I'm like, I can't have one of these. And then our bachelorette party was actually a little wild, but thankfully it was not a whole week trip. So I'm glad to hear that you had fun, but it was low key and you came back with hopefully all of your shoes, all of your credit cards, all of your dignity,
all of your teeth.
It was fun. Like even the first night we just hung out in one of the rooms and had like charcuterie and they had wine and stuff. And right when we got there, they gave us like, because I was the only one that came with, it's Kirsten, like my friend Injector Kirsten. So I was the only one that came with her from Nashville. And then all her other friends live in Tampa because she lived down there for a long time. So they went to nurse practitioner school together. And so her mom came from New York and then her like second mom, that's her like best friend's mom in Tampa. But they surprised us with these two big like beach bags. Like one was a cabana bag and it had like a hat and a embroidered little beach blanket and like sunscreen. And then the other bag had like a ton of snacks and drinks and stuff for your hotel room to just relax. And they gave us a bottle of wine. I was like, this is like Christmas. When we got here, I wasn't expecting all these like sweet gifts, but it was really fun. It was sweet.
That's so sweet.
And then I have a wedding this weekend, so I'm going to Gatlinburg.
Fun.
You're always on the go. I have a wedding next weekend in Memphis, and I was debating if I was gonna travel to Memphis for the wedding, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm not going, and then a part of me, it's like, okay, I'm going to go to the wedding. I'm so indecisive about it for whatever reasons, but I'm probably going to attend the wedding.
You didn't have to RSVP yet? It's like a week away.
I already RSVP. I know, so I have to go.
You're going.
They count the plate, so I don't want to waste anybody's money. I know weddings are expensive, so I'm going. Who's getting married, Gina?
My friends. You guys remember I went on that bachelorette party like a month ago to that lake?
Yes.
It's that friend. My friend Paige.
Oh, nice.
And she actually lives in Memphis, funny enough.
Wish it was the same wedding. That'd be so fun.
So much fun.
Yeah, they're getting married in Gatlinburg. Little mountain trip.
Oh, nice.
Speaking of weddings, question for you both. So Chris and I are also going to a wedding in a few weeks. It's his cousin. And it was either on the invite or on the wedding website, it says, in lieu of a gift, we request that you donate money to whatever charity they'd picked out. Fine. Happy to do it. But I'm used to just showing up at a wedding with a card and having a check in it. And I find the little bird cage for the card. I put the card in, and that's my gift. So I feel weird showing up at a wedding without anything. But do I go there with a card that just says, hey, we're here? Or do we acknowledge that we did donate? Because that also feels weird to be like, heads up, we did what you asked. It just feels very weird to show up empty handed. So have you ever experienced this charitable gift idea?
I haven't, but typically with gifts, I don't ever bring the gift to the wedding either way. Just like it's meant like sent to their house.
And maybe it's a New York thing, because I feel like whenever I've had this conversation with anyone here, people have said similar things like, oh, I just order off the registry. But I've always brought a gift, like a physical gift, to the wedding shower. And then this, you know what? We're giving out too many gifts in New York, because we give a gift from the registry at the shower and then a cash gift at the actual wedding, but they don't have a registry. The only thing they do have is like, buy us stuff for our honeymoon. It doesn't say it like that. It says it in a much classier way, but it's like brunch on the beach or something, or, you know, cocktails at dinner. So I feel like we'd rather do that, because at least that's an experience. But then I'm also like, they asked us to donate to charity, so we're going to give drinks over a charitable contribution.
I definitely feel like that y'all are some nice New Yorkers to give away so many gifts, first of
You're
all.
telling me.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea if you guys just donate, and I'm sure she can see who makes a donation to the charity that they're requesting. And then also, like you said, if you want to give them a nice experience, you can just say, congratulations from the Thilks, and give them whatever you guys decide on for their honeymoon?
It's for their honeymoon, but it's all through a website. So their wedding website has like
a honeymoon honey fund or whatever.
Yeah, like drinks at the bar, or, you know, a cabana on the beach, which I think is actually an amazing idea, because
Yes, it is.
they've lived together. They already have all the stuff for their house. I think the family's contributing to the wedding, so it's not like they need a new blender or bread maker or money for the wedding that they've spent on. So I've just never experienced it. But yeah, I kind of got gypped out of having a 12-person wedding, because you know how many showers I've been to and weddings where I've been giving out gifts for years.
Nicole, I think you have to have a full wedding again.
We want. It was either that or buy a house last year, and we had to buy the house because of the dog.
You should do like a 5-year.
That's what we're thinking.
I feel like a 5 year is a great idea, and I also feel like buying a house is a smarter ideal than buying a wedding, because weddings cost just as much as a down payment cost on a house. And I don't know if y'all watch that show. I know it's called Marriage or Mortgage.
I love
where
that
people
show.
decide if they want to spend money on a wedding, or if they have to spend money on the down payment on a house. But I definitely feel like 5 years would be a great celebration for y'all. Y'all are already 2 years in. Wait, so do y'all count the full year from the show?
Yeah, we count July 25th, like the
Yeah.
day we said I do, as our wedding anniversary.
Okay, yeah. So y'all are 2 years in. So y'all can start planning in the next 2 years for y'all's 5th year anniversary.
Yeah, we'll probably do 5 years, but I can't have a bridal shower after I've been married.
That too.
I don't know.
Right. Yeah. So too. You can make your own rules, Nicole.
It's just all about how we sell it.
That's right. We can just call it a bridal party. I mean, I don't know, where people still show up and shower you as a bride, because you're officially a bride. You're not a bride to be.
You don't even throw the bridal shower. It would be like me and Kirsten, so it wouldn't matter. We'd be like, this is Nicole's bridal shower, you guys.
You know, if you want to throw me one, I'm happy to have one, because Mama needs a new fancy espresso machine.
Yeah.
Like, you know, those dumb things that people register for, that not dumb, but the things that you would never buy yourself, and they're like $800 for a garbage can, but you make it a group gift so a million people can contribute.
I love it.
I remember one of my first friends to get married, she registered for it. Was probably a $500 garbage can. And I was like, this is what you want? This is what you're going to get, but it's going to be from all of us.
One big gift. That's hilarious. What kind of garbage can was this? Like, does it crush and dispose the garbage? I mean,
Probably. I don't know. I just feel like people put things on their registry that they know they don't need, but it's like that's your opportunity.
To ask for the big gifts, the
Right.
shiny gifts, of course, it sure is. I mean, honestly, I feel like it is good to ask for some expensive gifts, but I feel like those are the gifts that, like, your close friends or your family purchases.
Right.
And then you can also ask for, like, the other smaller gifts or more important gifts that are not as expensive.
While we're on the topic of gifts, I have to tell you guys about one of my best friends, Misa. She actually came to Nashville this weekend as a surprise for an early birthday gift for me. And I had no idea that her and Chris had been planning this for weeks. So I'm like, oh, he's been texting other girls under my watch and I don't even know. But I had the busiest day ever at work. I had no idea what was going on in this house. Chris was cleaning, doing laundry, had no idea. And he's like, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm like, all right. It's kind of late. It's like 4 something. We have dinner at 7 something. And he takes hours at the gym. I'm like, all right, cool. And he just changes his shirt, gets in the car. I'm like, that's weird because he usually has his energy drink. He has to sit, hype himself up. And so I came out of the shower. He opens the door and is like, guess who's here? And all I see is a black baseball hat. I'm like, who is this man bringing into my house? And it was Misa. And he planned to fly her in from New York just to see me for my birthday. Well, to spend the weekend for an early birthday gift. But isn't that so nice? Like, he's too good at lying, though. I will say that. But it was such a nice surprise and just what I needed. And Kirsten got to meet her. Gina, I was sad you
Aw.
weren't around.
I know. I missed the birthday surprises. Kirsten, I feel like I missed your birthday thing too because I was in Chicago, remember?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Gina, you have a lot of making up to do.
I
Misa's so
know.
sweet. And I thought that was so sweet of Chris to bring your best friend to town. And they told me like the coolest stories because of the career field that she's in. She's like in the entertainment business. And they tell me about how they first met. And I was like, oh, this is just so sweet. Like that she was able to come to Nashville and be a birthday present to you. I'm like, oh, I'm glad that y'all invited me out. We had so much fun.
Chris had all these dinner reservations. So we tried a few new places. And just a funny Kirsten story. You know, I love you so much because no one in the world is like you. And we were at this place called Tiger Bar, which, Gina, I don't know if you've been there, but it's like a 1940s, I want to say, like circus themes, like very cool vibe bar. They have an insane, extensive cocktail menu. Like all of them have fun names. And, you know, there's like egg white foam and grape cotton candy and just crazy. So the menu is like 30 pages and the waiter comes over and Kirsten's like, what do you recommend? Whatever. And he's listing off the things and she's like, I need a minute. So he comes back. She's like, okay, what do you want? And she looks at this whole menu. She's like, just a strawberry margarita. And his face, I can't even describe what his face looked like, but it was just so distraught. He's like, ma'am, we don't have just a strawberry margarita. And she's like, oh,
His face was like, girl, bye. You asking for this basic margarita.
Get out of here. Yeah. We got grape cotton candy.
Girl, handcrafted drinks with all the tricks. Like, girl, you asked for this simple margarita strawberry. Who does that?
she thinks she's at Applebee's.
Like she's at Applebee's, you said.
It was so funny. And she's like, just anything low calorie. He's like, we have this, which is the most similar. Like, he was so nervous because she just wanted this margarita, but it was the cutest thing. Like, I still laugh thinking about it because it was just so Kirsten.
I can see her now. She's like, okay.
And yeah, I was like in deep conversation talking to Misa and Nicole and like catching up with them and hearing all the fun stories. I'm like, I didn't really intend on drinking. I just came to converse. Like, I just wanted to hang out with my people. So I was like, yeah, strawberry margarita is fine.
Can we just like all agree that ordering drinks is like very overwhelming?
Yes.
I never know what I want. I bartended for like 13 years and I still am like, spicy margarita. And I very rarely drink at all now. So it's like, I'm not going to get a beer. I don't like beer. I'm not going to convince myself that I do. Now I don't.
No.
So I'm like, maybe I'll get like a cider. And then like 50% of the time I don't end up liking it anyways. Like, what do I want? I don't know.
Yeah, that's how I am too. That's why I feel like you have to have a signature drink. Like usually I'll order Prosecco or Riesling or something of that sort. But this bar specialized in handcrafted drinks. And like Chris ordered this super cool drink. where they had the cotton candy on top, and then they poured the alcohol on top of it, and the cotton candy melted into the drink. And they're like, okay, we have super specialty drinks, and you're asking for a basic strawberry margarita. Girl, bye.
Speaking of drinks, we went to this restaurant. I'm going to give them a shout out because they deserve it. It's called Fonda. Gina, if you haven't been, then we'll do a girls' night there. We had a reservation for 7:30. And actually, let me back up. So this restaurant, Fonda, is owned by the same chef who owns this restaurant called Rosa Mexicana in New York, which I used to go to all the time and I used to love. And their drinks were lethal. So they remind me of my 20s. And so we get there at like 7:20 for a 7:30 reservation. And they're like, oh, we have a few tables lingering. It'll be a few minutes. Fine, no problem. So it's almost 8 o'clock and they finally seat us. And obviously, you know me, I'm upset. I want to say something. I'm like, just be happy. Meet this here.
The Karen is itching.
Yeah. And I'm starving because I eat dinner at like 6:30. So at 8 o'clock, I'm ready to eat my hand. So they're like, oh, how are you? I'm like, I'm really hungry. How are you? So I'm like, check yourself, check yourself. So we sit down at the table.
Check yourself. Like, relax, Nicole, relax, Nicole.
And we look at the menu and there were at least 5,000 drinks on this menu. I'm like, I just want a drink. I don't even drink, but I know I want a drink and I don't know what to pick. And 2 seconds later, the manager comes over with 3 drinks. They were the frozen pomegranate margarita, which were phenomenal. But he's like, here, I'm so sorry about the wait. These are on the house. We're sending a tableside guac over right away. So we had waited half an hour, but within the first 30 seconds of us sitting down, we had drinks and guac. I didn't have to think about it, which was amazing because there were just too many drinks and I was too hungry. And I had 2 of these drinks and I woke up the next morning thinking I was ripping tequila shots because I never drink and they were pretty strong. And even on the menu, it's like our homage to Rosa Mexicana. I was like, oh my God, that makes me feel a little piece of New York. But the service was phenomenal. The food was beyond excellent. And then we had a little bit of our meat left over from our tacos. We're like, let's bring it home for the dogs, obviously. So they come back and the waitress is like, I'm so sorry. There was a mix up in the kitchen. Someone accidentally threw your meat out. So we made you a new order just in case you thought it would look different. Like, I don't know who's looking at their leftover meat and like, this looks a little different. But I just thought that level of customer service was so above and beyond. And I will recommend this restaurant to anyone and everyone. And the manager gave me his card and said, if we ever need a table and we can't get one, so just call him up. So we're VIPs at Fonda now, ladies.
I need to get out more. I don't know anything going on in Nashville.
Well, Gina, we're gonna take you out because you owe us both birthday dinners.
It's okay. We'll go to Fonda. We'll have a girls' night. We'll only have 1 pomegranate margarita.
And you will make our mans come pick us up.
And then we'll go to Beetlejuice.
And then we'll go to the Beetlejuice.
Which I didn't even get to see this weekend. Remember I said Chris was being weird about committing to going to the movie and I was getting so mad? It's because he knew Misa was coming, so he didn't want me to buy tickets and then not be able to go. So I still haven't gone.
Well, I can tell you right now, the last weekend of September, I can be all y'all's.
Nicole, send out a calendar invite today.
We'll have to see Beetlejuice before then, but we can go to the bar.
Y'all know it's so funny. I think you sent this to me on Instagram. It's like, when you're in your 30s and you're older now and you're like trying to juggle so much like work, relationships, family, friends, it's like, okay, just send me that calendar invite. Y'all, my cousin is so funny. She sends me calendar invites all the time. I'm like, I know it's real. Like, yes, except I will make for sure that I'm available this day.
I was listening to a podcast yesterday. I listen to a lot of like business and salon owner podcasts. And one of the girls I listen to a lot, her name's Britt Siva, and she was talking about experiencing burnout and how that can happen like in a lot of different ways, and sometimes you don't even realize that you're burnt out. And I totally feel that. I feel like I'm like always inching up on the last minute to get to the next thing. It's like, okay, I'm going to finish my clients and I got to be here and then I'm going to go do this. And she said that typically you hear like to reduce burnout, it's like self-care, or like go take a bath or go do a movie and do all these things. And she's like, which is helpful, but it's not really solving the issues that cause burnout. So she got me thinking yesterday because she was like, there's 4 things. There's health, love, time, and money. Those are like the 4 things She's like, so if you really ask yourself the question, like, if I was optimizing my time to where I'd be like the happiest I could be, what would that look like? If I was the most financially stable that I could be, what would that look like? If I was in the prime of my relationships, whether that be like friends, significant others, and giving my all to that, what would that look like? And if it was I was like my most confident and healthiest, what would that look like? And to like actually go through those questions and figure out for you what it would look like and then set goals kind of around that to get there within a year.
I love that.
So she had a lot of good advice. She said one of them was really her phone. She was like, I don't do social media after 6 p.m. She was like, I don't look at my phone once I get in bed anymore because I'm not going to like lay in bed and doom scroll. She got one of those Hatch alarms. Have y'all heard of that?
No. What is that?
It's like an alarm that basically like you can set it up to like an hour ahead of time and it starts to like barely light up, but it looks like a sunrise. And so it wakes you up. She was like, I don't even hear the sound because the light wakes her up and it feels like a legit sunrise, she said, in her room. But you can do like meditation and like, white noise and all kinds of different things with it, I guess. But it's not like waking you up in a jolt with like the iPhone alarm does. And so she's like, it's incredible how much like better I've felt waking up in the morning when I'm not like, oh shit, like trying to roll over and turn your alarm off really fast.
So that's for people who don't have a husky at home, basically.
Yeah, because you get woken up. Hank does not wake us up. He'll stay asleep all day unless we get up.
I'm alarmed every morning. I think waking up peacefully would probably change the whole trajectory of my day. But every morning it's like,
but it's so cute.
It's so cute. And it does get me up. Like, I will say it's annoying in the first 30 seconds, but my butt is up. And once I'm up, I'm up.
If that wasn't happening, you would miss it.
Oh my God. When we're on vacation, we play videos of him doing that obnoxious bark because it's so cute when you're not being woken up at 6 o'clock on a Tuesday.
Well, Hank went to stay at my mom's. Well, a couple things. He's got his storm anxiety.
Yeah.
And it hadn't rained in Nashville for like 6 weeks. And of course, the weekend that I take him to my mom's, it storms like nonstop. And so he fully wore out his welcome.
Oh.
He is like not allowed there for a while because my stepdad works overnights. And so I'm like, Mom, I get it. Like, she's like, I just don't think we can watch him because he keeps him up all night or like during the day too. And so I'm boarding him this weekend where he used to go to daycare. So he's probably going to have like an amazing time. But upon like coming back from my mom's this last time, she has a lab that like cries when you walk through the door. He's like, like over and over, like super loud, like cries, barks when you walk in. And then he also snores really loud. Oh. And so Hank got back and we were pulling up to the salon and he started doing that like cry when he was about to see everyone. And I was like, this is new. I'm like turning around in the car, like, are you crying? And then that same night we went to bed and he crawled under the bed and was like snoring. So I've never heard him snore like that. And I was like, is he just picking up on all the habits?
He was trying to be like his friends.
He was like under the bed. I thought it was so cute. And then, Bay's like, Hank, quiet, because he was like, old man.
It's cute when it's not interrupting your slumber.
Yeah, I didn't even care. We were like falling asleep and I was like, oh my God, is that him? We were like, no way. He is not snoring that loud. He only did it for a minute and then he finally stopped. But I swear he's like trying to be like his friend.
That is so funny. He's so funny, that Hank.
He's a real funny guy. So he is going to his doggy daycare to board. Guess I could call Clint. He'd probably take him, but he's got cat.
And you wouldn't get him back.
He'd steal him.
Yeah. Like, where's Clint? Just on his boat with Hank in the middle of the ocean?
I'm sure Hank will have a good time. He'll come back with some new tricks.
Well, he probably would keep him, but he has a cat.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, right?
Got a kitty cat.
Hank doesn't love kitties. He loves to chase them.
Circling back to what you were saying, it just reminded me, I was thinking about the phone thing. And I'm a person who likes to say I'm never on my phone. Like, I'll go a full work day without checking my texts. I won't check Instagram. Like, I won't do any of those things if I'm in the zone because I can get so easily distracted. So I feel like I'm never on my phone. But then when I really think about it, like, I'm just mindlessly on my phone a lot. Like, Chris and I will be sitting on the couch watching some dumb TV show or a movie we've already seen. And I'm just like playing a game or scrolling. And I don't notice it until I notice it. And then I'm like, why am I doing this? So we've been trying It's a little harder with football now back, but we've been trying to do like phone-free nights, even if we're not sitting and talking, even if we're just sitting next to each other watching TV without our phones, because
Yeah.
it's such a distraction that you don't even realize is causing a distraction.
Yeah. I had a really interesting conversation with my manager here at the salon about, like when I first started in a salon, I would work all day long and then I would bartend all night. And she was just talking about like how now people are so much more exhausted than they used to be. Like if you think about it, everyone's like, when you're like, how are you? People are like, I'm busy, I'm tired, and I'm busy. It's like I think we had that conversation. Like everyone, like Eris, like everyone is tired and busy. And I don't think we realize, like, regardless of distraction, how much your phone makes your brain work. Like you're still watching something, like you're like alert, you're like paying attention. Um, and so when you're constantly working and then not working and paying attention to your phone, it's still like making your brain work. And so you're like so tired all the time. I am one, I'm interested. It's in the same way. Like when half the time when I'm in the salon, I don't even know where my phone's at because my hands are in hair. But then when I'm not, I am like doom scrolling or like responding to people's text, or it's just exhausting because everyone wants your attention, whether it's like Instagram, friends, someone always wants your attention if you have your phone. So it's like just prioritizing that time to be like, okay, no, like at a certain point, I'm just not even going to look at it.
I feel like that's how I am, like, especially, since my show is back on. So when I'm watching TV, I like for the show to have my undivided attention. So I'm not checking any messages or Instagram messages or anything. I'm like zoomed in all on the show to make for sure I'm not missing anything that's happening. But like if I am like searching for some clothes or like looking on the internet for something before bed, then I dedicate my time to that. But if I don't want to be on my phone at night, I may do like a quick reply to somebody that messages me, and then that's it. And then I put my phone down. Or like when my man and I are together, like he gets all my attention. And because it's like you can be so connected to your phone to where you're disconnected from each other when you're in the same room. And it's like when I'm with my friend, I don't like for everybody to be sitting there scrolling and taking pictures and selfies. I'm like, well, why are we all even here together? Like, even like Nicole, when we went out this weekend, we were interacting with each other. Like, nobody was on their phones. We're sitting there having conversations, like, having talking about different topics and drinks and outings and everything else. So it's like I like to cherish those moments and be present in those moments when I'm around people. And I'm like, if people are on their phone while they're around me, like, go home. What is this worth? Like, what is this time worth?
Yeah, it's just our culture. I think people now are very used to being connected, so they don't know how to disconnect. And I really like try to be very mindful if I'm out with other people, or if I do need to check my phone, I'll say like, hey, I have to check something on work, or let me just answer this person really quickly, because I also don't want to be rude if someone's waiting on a reply for me. And then, you're in the car and then you get out of the car and it's like, oh, I'm just not going to answer the people anymore. And I'm notorious, as you guys know, for being chatty, chatty, chatty. And then 7 hours later, I'm like, okay, and we're back. So it is a hard balance, but I feel like everyone these days is just so used to having their phone attached to their hand. And I think that really adds to that burnout, because to your point, Gina, it's like even if you have nothing you have to do, there's always something you can do on your phone.
I mean, yeah, I definitely know that I could be more present for sure. And it is for me, it's generally work, but it's like I was telling my boo last night, I was like, I always feel the need to like respond immediately to like if they're work related texts or clients or whatever. And I've been bad about that boundary, even if it's late at night. Like some of my clients have my personal number, they'll text at like 9 p.m., which they're thinking of something. So they're texting it. They're not like, I wouldn't expect them to be like, oh, it's not her business hours. Like you're thinking of your hair. You want to say it just the same as if something pops in my mind, I'm typically going to text someone so I don't forget to like say it. So I told him, I was like, but I want to get better about not making like everything doesn't have to be a pressing issue. Like it can wait. If it's 6 o'clock p.m., it can wait until 6 or 7 the next morning, typically.
If my client texts me at 9 p.m., I'll text them back first thing in the morning.
Yeah. But I do it even with like my team, like whoever, because it's just habit to like respond quickly because I feel like there's always something that needs, like we were talking about, like that needs my attention.
I know I'll text very early in the morning, but I never expect people to answer me right away. I'm like, they'll see it when they see it. They'll respond when they're up and active. So I feel like people who do text later on, they're not like, if Gina doesn't answer about my hair in this second, I'm not going to her. So
Yeah.
it's that mindset of like, we don't expect people to be responsive right away, but we feel like we have to be responsive.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. I'm like, I don't care if someone waits like days to text me back, but if someone texts me, I'm like, oh, I need to respond right now. But I think partly it's because I don't want to forget. So I've gotten good at scrolling my text to unread. I like love that feature on the iPhone.
That was actually my invention. That was my invention. I didn't have enough money to like, make for sure patent the idea. But the reason why I thought about it before Apple rolled that out is because when you think about it, you can check your emails and you can mark them unread. And so I was like, hey, like Apple needs this to be on our text messages. And then before you know it, they listen to our phone calls. So before you know it, a year later, they rolled out that. And I was like, you're welcome, Apple. Like, you got a free idea from me.
I didn't even know that was a thing until you just said it. But
yes, I did it all the time.
I didn't. But if I see I have a lot of text messages, I'll go through them just so I don't have the notification, because I get anxiety when I see, like if I'm in certain group chats and I'll look at my phone and see like 47 unread texts, I won't read anything. So I just go through and I click on them so I don't see them, and then I go back later and check. But sometimes I miss some. So what I wish they would do, Apple, you can hear this, is on your email, if you've sent an email and you haven't received a reply, it'll be like, hey, do you want to follow up? So I wish it would be like, hey, you read this and didn't answer. Did you want to? Like a little ping, like, no, maybe I wanted to ignore that person, or maybe I truly forgot.
Yeah, they'll probably roll that out soon because that's one of the features in my emails on Gmail.
Yeah.
And then something else that I also had an idea for, but I didn't patent it. I used to think of inventions all the time, y'all. This used to be like my hobby.
Well, don't tell people. You want another idea to get stolen?
Well, they already incorporated it. They already implemented it. It was when multiple people can jump on FaceTime, because you know how you have a Zoom? And so multiple people can jump on Zoom. Now they added that. Remember, because you used to only be able to FaceTime one person.
Yeah.
But now you can FaceTime multiple people. That was one of my ideas.
Well, you have good ideas.
I have another idea that they have yet to roll out, a really big invention. But it costs so much money to patent an idea.
When Misa was here, we FaceTime Kirsten, and we said something about Eris, and she was like, I just spoke to Eris, and he said he's not leaving the house for the rest of the month. He's staying in. And I'm like, all right, let's give him a call. So we give him a call, and this man is out in the streets. Like, I don't even know why he answered, but he was
He was outside in the streets.
It was noisy. There were women. Like, I don't even know what was going on. And the next day he texted me. He's like, that's it. After this, it's just me and the couch for the rest of the month. It's like, okay, I'll call you on your bullshit. But it was so funny.
Exactly. And then I see him riding in traffic. It was so random because I haven't seen Eris in forever. And I'm like riding over the Nashville Bridge. And he's like blowing and waving. And I'm like, hey, how's it going? And that was funny because that was the night I saw you. I was like, I just saw this man outside.
I have no idea why, but that just reminded me. I watched Love is Blind UK.
All of it?
All of it. And I want to give them a round of applause for doing a show the right way. There was love. There was drama. There was growth. There was communication. There were some fights, but there was resolve. There was like absolutely really no toxicity. It was more just at the end, hey, this wasn't for us. It didn't go the way we wanted it to, but no hard feelings, or we learned a lot about each other. Like very similar to our stories. It was so good. And I won't give any spoilers away, but there was one man on the show. I'll give it away because it doesn't say anything about him, but his name is Freddie, and he's a funeral director.
And he's beautiful.
And I was like, Chris, no offense, I love you. You're the love of my life. But if you died and I was planning your funeral with this man, I wouldn't be able to do it. And he was like, if I had to plan your funeral with this man, I wouldn't be able to do it. I was cracking up. And everything is better because they're British, obviously. But it was so good. Like, and we watch it because when we say was here, we're like, let's just like watch a show like we used to do and just hang out. And the three of us were so into it. And it really just showed so much maturity. Like, of course, they have their fights and there's drama because they're human and whatever. But everyone was a little older too. I think the youngest person was like 28 and it went up to 39. So I thought that was really a big thing. But I was so impressed. And it puts every other show in America to shame because they just did it so much better. And that's what I have to say about that.
I might have to watch this show, honey. Freddie is so handsome. Oh my gosh, look at this man. So his relationship didn't work out?
Well, I said no spoilers, but you just looked him up. So he may or may not still be single.
Oh, come on. I might not make it to the end of the episodes. He's so handsome. And I actually love that for that entire cast that they had. Well, it sounds like they had a really good experience. I don't know for sure. But from everything you just said, I feel like they had an amazing experience for filming. And that's good for them.
Yeah.
I think that Love is Blind here in the United States may need to take some extra notes or something.
I honestly think it was the age. It was that they were all like really ready to be married, and I didn't find that anyone was too immature.
Season 1's always a good one, like 1 and 2, and then it just like goes downhill.
Well, I hope not, because now I have high hopes for Love is Blind UK. And the place they go on their honeymoon, we looked it up. It's on this little island.
I looked it up too.
Did you watch it?
I watched like the first couple episodes.
You have to finish.
No.
But the honeymoon destination, it's part of Greece, but it's an island. It's like closer to Albania than Greece. And from New York, it's a direct 11-hour flight. So we could just pop up to New York and go there. And it's only, I say only, but for this beautiful resort, it's only like $400 American dollars a night. And it was beyond the most beautiful place I've ever seen.
What's the name of it?
I forget the name of it, of course, but you'll just have to watch the show and you'll see.
I think I found it on Instagram already because Freddie took a picture out there.
Of course he did.
I'm stalking Freddie now. We should have Freddie on our podcast. He went on somebody else's podcast just recently. Should we slide into his DMs?
Freddie.
I don't think I should be sliding into his DMs.
Go for it, Kirsten.
I think Chris would understand, actually. He'd be like, yeah, get it. Talk to Freddie.
I'm melting over here.
Kirsten showing the abs on the camera.
These are thirst traps.
Looking up flights to London right now.
Come on, Freddie.
I know, a British accent. Hot.
Mm-hmm. Watching that show, we laughed because when they're in the pods, like to me, I don't, really know any British people. So to me, a British accent is a British accent. And they'll get in the pods and they'll be like, oh, I'm from so-and-so. And the other one's like, yeah, I can tell from your accent. And obviously I equate it to like being from the South and New York and New Jersey and the Midwest, whatever. So of course, different areas have different accents. But it's just so funny how they can tell, like, oh, I know where you're from based on your accent. And it all sounded the same to me. But then it got us talking about how we all say words differently, and we won't bore you on this podcast with all of the words because it's probably much funnier to us than it is to everyone else out there. But I would love to hear from everyone. What are words that you notice people say differently? Like, do we say words differently? Because apparently I say words differently. And what did Chris say? Marriage.
You say words differently, Nicole. You say parents, and I say parents.
No, I say parents.
I don't know.
Parents.
I feel like I heard you say parents.
I enunciate my letters. So if there's like a double R in marriage.
Marriage. What about like coffee and calendar?
I say like coffee. I don't say like coffee. Coffee.
It was still different.
Calendar.
Oh, was it?
Calendar.
I feel like, what's that girl's name? From Jersey Shore.
Snooki?
Yes, Snooki. She would probably, or the other lady,
JWoww?
She was on the Italian Wipes or something. Big Bench. They would probably say coffee.
Well, I have a Mario that works here, and everyone from New York calls him Mario.
Yeah, Mario.
Do you say Mario?
I say Mario, but I have a friend whose name is Mario. He does not let you call him Mario.
Mario says his name is Mario, but he's from the West Coast. He's from LA. But I've had you and now 3 other New Yorkers I know are like, "No, it's Super Mario." And I'm like, "Oh, it is Super Mario."
Yeah, Super Mario Brothers. Mario and Luigi. Like Kirsten, it makes me so happy when she says theater. The theater. Like she's an old Southern lady. The theater.
Theater. The theater.
Well, down here they say "ol."
Oil?
Like OIL is "ol."
Oil?
I say oil.
Oil.
I say oil too, but a lot of Southerners, including my boyfriend, say "ol."
I need an oil. No, I'm lying. I say I need an oil change.
Old chain? I can't even say it. My mouth doesn't
Oil.
make that noise. Oil.
I need an oil change.
Oil change. Bowl, oil.
Bowl?
Like boil would be bowl.
Boil. Boil some water.
You say bowl sounds better? Kirsten says bowl.
Boil some water.
Yeah, see? She's doing it right now.
Boil. Boil some water.
Boil.
Yeah, you don't say that. Say it how you'd say it if you're going to make mac and cheese.
Boiling.
I'm boiling some water.
Listen, we can do this all day, and I think it's hilarious, but I don't know if our listeners will agree. So let's wrap this up. I love you, ladies, and everyone, thank you for listening to another episode of D-List Diaries. You know the drill. Reach out to us on Instagram at D-List Diaries. We will check our phones when we check our phones, and we'll get back to you just as soon as we can. Really, thanks, guys, and tune in next week. We'll catch you there.
Catch you on the flippity flop.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.